There may be a few other men join. There's one joining now. So I'll continue to let them in and just get rolling here in the space. Boy, it's one thing to have a list of different men who signed up for this work talk, and it's a whole other thing to sit here looking around at some faces that are familiar, some faces that aren't familiar, and to just get that there's, there's some kind of resonance, real resonance on this topic. The title of this work talk, I'll say it into the space, and I think you all know it, is "Good boys do not go to heaven, they source hell." And this title came out of a conversation, really many conversations with both men and women, mostly here in Mexico in person at a community called Inlakesh, where I'm currently living, along with those four guys on the screen. Would you guys just raise your hands? This is part of the Inlakesh crew. But this title came out of conversations about, someone said about the title, "Oh, it's catchy," and there's some kind of accuracy where it's a catchy title. But much more than being a catchy title, the conversations I've been having revealed that it's a pretty accurate title. That whatever promise being a good boy holds, letting in another guy, whatever promise being a good boy holds in relationship, in work, promise of being loved, of being liked, of being appreciated, of getting ahead. Welcome, Mickey. That it doesn't really work. It doesn't really come to pass. Whatever the fantasy of heaven would be. And that the reality of whatever underworld mechanisms are at play with the survival strategy of being a good boy, whatever version of your good boy box you have or you live with, that really what gets sourced is hell, is some sort of painful way of living or inauthentic way of living. And I think everybody here will get to talk about that, but would have their own version of that. I want to share, I want to say just a couple of brief logistics. There is one group, Volker and Tobias, you already named yourselves. There's going to be translation happening over there. So just the two of you, if you need anything or need to say anything about that during this, just interrupt and say, even Volker, you can say, Devin, will you slow down a little bit? Whatever you need. The other logistic, we go for about 2 hours, and I will do my best to make sure we actually close when the 2 hours are up. I'm checking for anything else. Yeah. Something else is that this call is recorded. There's a couple purposes behind that. One is that there are men who wanted to be here and could not be here. And so this is partly so that they can get to watch the recording and be connected to what this space is and whatever we unfold here together or discover. And the other is that there are men who don't even know that this space is happening. Maybe they've never heard of possibility management, whatever, that they don't know that this space is happening. And at some point in the future, they may want to have access to what we bring in this space, what we bring out in this space. And so this recording, I also want to be available for them. And I want to check for resistance about this. Is there any resistance to me posting this on my YouTube channel when we finish here? And the way resistance works is you can have 0 resistance, which is totally fine. You can have 10 resistance, which is hell no. So just on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, any resistance to that? Thank you. Marcus, yes. And would you just say what your resistance is?
I guess just it being completely public and maybe in some way leading to me censoring myself, maybe even unconsciously knowing that it's going to be out there for public consumption. I would be more comfortable if it was shared to select people who requested it rather than the blanket publication. But three is low resistance, so it wasn't a zero.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I would ask, I would say I'll go with this proposal of sharing it broadly. And if there's a moment where you're like, I'm censoring myself, tell me, or you can even tell me after the call, anyone. And I would go with this proposal of people who request it specifically to make it available for them.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else logistical from anybody here?
Devin, I'll have to leave 5 minutes prior to the end of the proposed time. I'll just disappear.
Okay. Depending on the space, depending on where we are, I actually ask that you not just disappear. So just
Okay.
you can just interrupt and say I'm going, but just so there's real contact with you. For me, you're a
Okay.
precious member of whatever team we're forming here, and so I want to know when you leave.
Yes, I
Thank
hear
you.
you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, I close logistics and yeah, first I just ask that you center yourself. Center, ground, and bubble yourself. And so centering means you notice where your attention is right now, wherever it is in your mind, in a feeling, in the past, in the future, and you bring your attention, as much of it as you can, onto your physical center, which is this place just below your belly button, about halfway back in between your hips. And you really plant your what we call your energetic center there. And become present with that here and now in this space. And you can use your clicker, which is this thing, to declare a grounding chord from your center into the center of Gaia. So you can go ahead and do that. And on the count of 3, just declare the color of your grounding chord into the space. 1, 2, 3.
Island red,
like gold.
red,
Silver.
green, gold.
Thank you. And then go ahead and declare a bubble, your bubble of personal space, again with your clicker. And I'm going to declare a golden cube of workspace around our space today. And you can help me declare that. And so this golden cube of workspace, no matter where we are in the world, as a group, we are within that particular energetic workspace. And I declare it with a thick black grounding cord. And I invite you to take a minute, maybe it's 2 minutes even, to just make contact with someone on the screen. And you pick one man and you just make contact with him. Just looking. And really let it in that there's something that brought you to this work talk. Something very personal. And over there, there's another guy. And something very personal brought him to this work talk. Some kind of pain, probably. So you might not even know this person you're looking at. And already there's this connection. There's some kind of bond in that. I will say, I do not know specifically what you had to go through to get to this call. But I want to share a little bit about what it's been like the last days for me coming to this call. And I'll say first, this is by far the most terrified I've been to hold any kind of space, let alone a work talk. And the last 2 days in particular, my nights have just been filled with nightmares about this work talk. And to be honest, I walk around with this kind of don't do it happening. And just as I check in with that, for me, it's a part of this good boy box, that this space to really face into what having a good boy box is like is so, at least for me, is so insane. It so violates my box, whatever my rules are about how I should be living. And so my dreams have just been saying, don't do it. And what's made it possible to be here is a team. And some of that team is in the space right now, and some of it isn't. And even, I want to say, even though that this is a good boy, checking out the good boy box, checking out that survival strategy space, there are women who have backed this space up to happen. And I just want to acknowledge that, because however much we might need a space like this, the women who are not in the space also do. In particular, on my end, in particular, it was receiving messages from Anne Chloe about Devin, you have to go, you have this space coming, you have to go invite as many men as you can to it. And so some of you received personal invitation from me, partly because Anne Chloe was there also taking a stand for this space to happen. And some of you may have read the first text I sent about this space. And that text only happened because there was a woman, and I sat down and I said, can I send this? Because for me, my box was just like, I can't, it's bad, it's wrong, it's somehow evil. Can I send this? And there was a woman who sat down with me and said, you have to send this, do not change a word. And so I just say that because that's also here in this space, some kind of support from women also taking a stand for me and for you. And I've been sitting during my days, particularly yesterday and today, thinking, what does this space even entail? What could we possibly talk about? How do I open it? What exercises do we do? And to be honest, I've sat with almost nothing coming. And I think part of that for me has been because the only thing that could really happen, the only thing that could really work in this space would be a real liquid state around facing how has it really been for you and for me to live out this survival strategy. So for me, part of the journey with unfolding my own good boy box started 2 months ago when I ended a relationship that I've been in for about 3 years. And throughout the course of that relationship, a big part of what was happening in me was every time there was a problem, I knew that it was my fault. I was so clear that there was something very wrong in me. And that if I could fix it, if I could just go through enough processes, if I could be less hookable, if I could have if I could be better in a million different ways, the relationship would work. And in the days leading up to the relationship ending, I was shocked over and over again, mostly by the team around me, to tell me, this is what's going on. It's not that you are bad, it's that you and your partner have insane underworlds, and you have been in total denial about that. You've been in total denial about that. And I mean, to be honest, in the last 2 months, it's been over and over, no way. No, it could not have been like this. This could not have been what is really going on. And going through processes and seeing, wow, at a very deep level, I'm convinced when anything's going wrong in a relationship, I am convinced that it is the man's fault. That it is deeply the man's fault. And even beyond that, at a very day-to-day, moment-to-moment level, I've had this ongoing thing in me of, if I and I talked with some of you about this and explored it also with you, Michael, is if I could only get this right, if I could only do this a little bit better, if I could touch her just the right way. This thing where I don't want to hold hands right now, if I could just figure out, how do I get myself to be able to hold her hand right now? I don't need to put it on the table that I don't want to hold hands. Just if I can just go through this, things will be fine. Things will get better. And so much more than that. If I could say the right thing. I realized that anytime my partner felt something, that being the bad person that I was as a man, I was certain that I had to go fix it. So if she's sad, if she's angry, if she's scared, I have to go do something about it, because what's happening over there is my fault. And then at some deeper level, at some even more underworld level, there's this trying to be good, trying to make it right. Anything I can do to just keep the thing together. And then underneath that, and it's taken me a lot to get this, but slowly hating her for that. Hating that it's on me. It's always my fault. I have to fix it. I've got to do something right. And back and forth between these things. And being a good boy, I can't really look at that. So being a good boy, I can't really let it in that there is a growing rage in me. And it only comes out. It only comes out in these moments where some part of me cannot take it anymore. So also in these months, I've had more and more conversations, first with men, one-on-one conversations with men, checking out this strategy, finding out that I'm not the only one who lives in this insane world, with relationship. But also getting to talk to some women who've been generous and somehow brokenhearted enough to share about what it's like to be on the other side of that. And some of it's what it's like to be on the other side of a man who has this good boy thing. And some of it is just, okay, this is part of the man's experience in relationship. What about the woman's experience in relationship? It's like somehow it's the same thing. Not exactly the same, but there's the same amount of pain, of distance in the relating, and in somehow inauthenticity in the relating. And for me, I said this in my message, I have no solutions about this yet. For me, it's the only thing I know to do with this kind of transformational work is to walk into the breakdown. Meaning to walk into, this is how it really is, to get an accurate, this is how it is, this is how it's been, and to just go all the way to the bottom of that. So I sat this morning, I came up with some kind of plan for this space. maybe some of that plan, we do it, maybe some of it we don't. But more than anything, I want voices in the space. I want to hear from you what it, I guess, what it has been like, what's stirring in you just as this space starts. And so I opened the floor. I saw different people nodding and saying, and making different noises. I'd love to hear what is stirring in you about this.
I feel fear to speak up right now. It's like this fear is like most of my life. It's like I need to say something that is valuable. I need to say something that is important, that is important for you. So this is my focus somehow goes there, and it's like, and immediately I feel I disconnected from myself being with you. It's really I feel fear. I feel sad to just speak out, and and at the same time, what you brought, Devin, like you showed yourself. It brings me like I can do it. I can speak out right now. Yeah, and yeah, for me, this good boy box mostly means that this is about me. This is about me. If something goes wrong, if something goes wrong in my world, this is because of me. This is because of me. I am not skilled enough to hold space. This is about me that I can hold space for my kids sometimes, and I'm reactive. Yes, and my way to deal with this is I want to fix myself. Is the same path as you said. I want to fix myself. I need to go through another process. I need to hold, like, really be live and live, and at the same time hold space all the time, all the time. And this is what my life is about. This is like, it's like constantly improving my space holder skills for being with another people, and actually not living with another people, because focusing on what I can do differently, like what can I notice more.
And what's it for, Wojciech? What is it for that you would be doing, practicing, becoming better, improving? What's the idea there?
The idea behind this is like, and then I can be myself, and then and only then I cannot escape energetically from my body. And then I can relax with people. I can show myself. I really I did this is important for I want to be. Yeah, this is what behind this.
Yeah.
And this is my way to do it.
So it's like once you get to the end of being good enough, being able to do enough, then you can finally be, or you can finally be yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Wojciech.
Thank you, Wojciech.
Yeah,
Go, Jay.
Okay. Yeah, Devin, I really resonate with what you say. I have a similar situation. I've separated from a woman that I've been, living with for near 2 years. And I'm in denial that it's happening or that it's happened. And yeah, I'm in this space of just, yeah, what if I'd done this? What if I'd done that? You know, and it just, and I don't want to go to a place of hating the woman because it seems so futile to do that. It just seems so far removed from, you know, living in an intimate relating place with a woman. Why would I go and hate this woman? And it's kind of like, I find myself really stopping myself, actually having to stop myself from being really angry with her, you know, and yeah, and staying, yeah, it's if yeah, in this place of just, if I'd done this, if I'd done that, we'd still be together. It's like putting this woman as a goddess, and that, you know, there's no other replacement or something like that. And yeah, I'm just a man that is, you know, transforming and doing this work, and one day I'll get there, kind of thing as well.
Jay, I didn't
Yeah,
completely get. Would you say more? What do you mean with the goddess, or bring her as a goddess?
yeah, it's like looking at all the, you know, like, yeah, ignoring the shadow behavior that goes on in a relating space, and just looking at the really good parts. And yeah, there's this forming of, that is the place where we were within me. And then if we go through all the shit, and if we go through all this the mess, what the fuck's the point of going through all the mess with someone and then coming out the other side and you're not together? You know, it's like, yeah, what the fuck is the point of that? Surely if you're going to go through a whole bunch of mess, you know, that, you know, you both actually, you know, evolving alongside each other, and then you're going to, you know, get to carry on the journey together. It's kind of like that, Martin.
And I heard you say something about not wanting to be angry, not wanting to somehow hate her, something like that. And I wanted to, yeah, what would you say a little more about that? And I mean, it may seem like a completely obvious answer, but my question is, why would you not want that? Or why would you avoid that if that's what's really happening for you?
Yeah, I think it's more along the lines of hate than anger. Like, I've gone and felt my anger, you know, and I've just raged because, yeah, that's what I'm feeling. But to actually have to go to that next stage of actually hating the person, you know, for leaving, or for, you know, being part of this mess or what have you, just it's like this step too far. It's just like, yeah, really blowing away my good man image.
Yes.
That I could do that. Yeah.
And I want to say, I would not encourage you to just go hate people and nurture that or anything like that. And what I've been noticing is something like, at least for me, it really took having, I don't know, four guys, maybe 5 guys doing these standing rage holds. And every time I did them, it was like, oh, Devin, it's so clear. It's like you're holding all this stuff back. And then when I finally was able to say it after whatever half hour of doing this, all the things that I thought were just hatred and bad and whatever, it turned out, just based on the feedback, it's like, it sounds like clarity to me. This is what the team said, team of men and women. So what I'm saying is, at least for me with this good boy thing, your perception of what might really just be anger and what is hatred might be skewed. It could be that it's off in some way. And there might be hatred there.
Yeah.
That's just there. And no matter how much you wish it away or try to good boy it into, okay, I don't want to feel that it's there, and it requires something. It requires something for transformation to happen.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. That lands well for me right now. You know, I get that. Just yeah, it's just to vocalize it, just to release it out of my body. Part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and still yet it just seems, you know, I'm so programmed, you know, to not hate someone that I've been in love with, you know,
Yeah.
someone that I've shared intimacy with. You know, it's just, yeah. And I'll explore that.
Well, does anybody relate to this phenomenon, either of having like a hatred in you toward your partner, or having something like that and just not wanting to have it? I don't know how to say it other than that, but putting it away or hiding it in some way. So it's like about half the people. In some way, you're in good company, and it's something maybe we explore at least with a process later in the call.
Yeah, and what I notice right at the moment, what comes up for me is it's like if I put it out, and I'm putting it out into the resonance of the world. You know, if I release it out of me, then it's going to join into the resonance of what goes on in the universe. And there'll be an effect of that ongoing somehow. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to check with
Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff. You said something you started to say.
It was related to what Wojciech said in it's past, but with what Jay what you said, the fear that was coming for me is like once it's out, I can't put it back in. Once it's out, I cannot, you know, it's it's out and I cannot. It's like the worms popping out of the can. Like you can't put them back in, and then I
what?
might lose what
Yeah.
I'll lose what I wanted. You know, like that's the story of me. Like I'll lose her. I will lose any chance of repairing it. Like yeah, like I'll be locked away forever somehow. Yeah.
I want to check with you. Would that also, I could see that if you're talking to her in person and just pouring your hatred out, does that stand also for in a process, your fear about somehow it tears apart something?
No, actually, I feel fear to share this because I don't want to be in a solution space, but I've been actually practicing this with myself and with people. So like, okay, you're holding back so much. Will you just fucking say it? Like, just fucking say it already. Like, you know, I have I I have this really clear energetic sense that it's this like piranha that eats away inside my body if I do not say the things. And that yeah, I just disease myself with all the things that I don't want to say. You know, but what I got from why I'm doing all this work is that somehow I want to be better than everybody else at the table. If I do enough work, then I'll be the best at it, and then I'll be safe. Like I'll be untouchable.
Yeah.
No.
And can you say a little about what that work is? If I do all this work, what's your list?
Yeah, the fixing myself, the emotional healing processes, the stellating processes, you know, if I fully open 100% of, you know, decontaminating my sexual energy strategies, decontaminating my gremlin, you know, transforming my gremlin. If I do take all the right steps, then, you know, I'll be the best. Like I'm sitting here on this call with, I think I know every single one of you from in-person things, except for maybe two people. And there's a part of me that's totally um I'm threatened. Like I have to see like who here, you know, who's more matrix than me, who's less, and 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 then I know, and then I know how much more work I have to do, how much more fixing I have to do
Mm.
until I'm worthy.
Worthy of what?
I my my rational mind doesn't go that far. It's just trying to make some scale to make it this all makes sense enough that I don't have to be in any danger zone.
Mm. Well, you had said also about being untouchable, something about being in that hierarchy where if you've done the most, then you'd be untouchable somehow,
Yes.
safe. What about other people? How does this go for you? What's stirring in you?
I want to share. um, mm, if it feels for me like sitting with you, it's like saying out loud, yeah, that my my box, like I have a good boy box. It almost feels like, like says I'm alcoholic,
Mm.
and yeah, it feels like like I don't know anything else apart of that, even though like I've realized this box and these strategies some years ago, and now I'm sitting with you, and I'm just coming to me that I've been just surfacing, like I've been covering this strategy with some another strategies, avoiding some spaces, using a little bit anger, and even now, like, I'm here and I'm worrying because at 5 my partner is arriving with the train, and I will be late for about 20 minutes, and it's uncomfortable. Like, even though I know that she's okay with it, but there's like,
Yeah, can you say
that
more
I'm
about uncomfortable? Like, if you bring us closer to you about what this is.
yeah yeah like. mm, yeah, that I should do better. I should, like it's not right that my lady or my yeah will be there waiting for me 20 minutes. It's dark and 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 and, and, and it's uncomfortable, and then at the same time I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. Like, like I want to trust that what she said, and I'm okay, like with and yeah, like always trying to be this good guy, who proper guy who is on time, and yeah, and and it feels scary because I don't know what like what is behind this strategy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's at least one emotion, one feeling behind it. You say what you feel.
Mm. Mostly I feel fear, and there's I sense there's a fear of anger, actually.
Mhm. A fear of you being angry or of
Yeah.
somebody else being angry.
No, fear of my anger to do that different steps to to set a boundary like to myself, or to have this anger that brings clarity, that yeah, to first yeah, allows me to admit, yeah, I'm a good guy, you know. And I mean I use this strategy. I'm filled with that strategy.
Mhm.
And I want to try something else. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'm noticing right now how much being good is related to also having this story of like, I'm not okay. Seems to me like from what I'm hearing, at the basis, I'm not okay, and therefore I kind of need to be good. And I'm just sensing in myself right now how much that is the case for me. And I'm noticing that I'm very busy being good, so that this sense of I'm bad or I'm not good enough yet, I need to fix myself, is not so strong.
Mhm.
And that really, for me, hits on, like, in one hand, like working, doing, working, something like to show that I'm worthy, that I can create. Like this being busy really finds a fine humus to grow on that.
Mhm.
That's when I look at myself. And for me, it's in any kind of relating, not just with my romantic partner.
Yeah.
But in any kind of relating. And one shade of my good boy box then is, if I don't speak my boundaries, or if I don't use my clarity because my good boy box holds me back from saying what I have to say, I start building resentment slowly in the background, which then gives me a good reason to like abandon the people eventually, just walk away. Yeah, without saying anything. And then they are bad, and I can tell myself whatever kind of victim story about that.
Mhm.
And I felt touched when you, Jay, said, do not hit someone who I have been in love with. And immediately that opened my sadness, because it looks like I have this strategy of saying that relating is being in love, and calling it love, because love would be something perfect or something great, or relating in a love phase and calling it love.
Mm.
And then confusing that with also using my gremlin not to move in calling it adult, and saying how I'm using my ego parent state, and I'm an adult, and I'm really perfect in this connection. So I'm saying anything that goes along this path, I'm just being appropriate in this space and relating with that. And then when something would come out of my mouth, it would be gremlin and just destroying the space.
Mhm.
And then saying, yeah, and I'm right. And I would be attacking and destroying and transforming the space in some other kind of thing. So good boy and bad boy go with each other inside of me, which is, if I'm not good, I'm really bad. And in between, I'm adult. And that would be also ego parent. So calling it names instead of just being what is, being authentic with what I'm feeling.
Mhm.
And then staying in gremlin and attacking for a couple of days or a week because I'm so right about the feedback that I want to give and that you did wrong. And holding resentments and showing that the other person in front of me is so inferior and I'm so superior about what I'm doing. and that being appropriate, because relating is being also that and giving feedback and using a closed face, and even using my feelings, starting the conversation with I feel fear, and actually I'm not feeling fear. I'm really angry. And sharing from that and using that strategy so that I can just enter the space and just open another conversation so that I can attack with the purpose that I'm really bringing into the space. Thank you.
And what I'm noticing is just now that the good boy box just covers up really well the underworld. And thank you. Most of the sharings now from you men was talking about your underworld.
Yeah.
And for some it is resentment, hatred, my underworld, likes to bring revenge into the world, or I just walk away, I isolate myself. But the box, in this case, the good boy box just covers up that, so that is not seen behind the mask of, like, I don't know, I cultivated the looking good, having no clue mask. Like way back when I was in a corporate job, I could sit in meetings with even the high management, and they all had such a great impression what amazing employee I was, and I didn't say a word. I just cultivated looking good, not having a clue in this.
What is a clue mask?
Clue wäre, a clue is like so a mask is gemask, so I would use it as a cover. Like, and having no clue is having no idea. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I pretended I understood everything. So I looked so good that I got everything without that I had to ask a question or say anything. So it's like pretending.
But what's the clue? What is the word? If you say it in German, I get it.
Clue ist sowas wie eine Idee davon haben von etwas. Eine Vorstellung.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
And my pain that comes from that is beneath at the surface, beneath the strategy of good boy and being superior, making others inferior, and resenting. It's the fear of failing, of making mistakes, of being judged, of being criticized. And it's the fear that I don't know how to deal with. Then I get to be ashamed, so I start mixing feelings inside of me. Because if I fail, I might get to be ashamed, and then I don't know how to get out of that. Because when me as a man get to be ashamed, there's no way to come out of that. I can blame everyone for being ashamed, but it's my shame. And that's my real thing. It's okay. I can mix it. I can try to show the world that I'm doing so many processes. And then at the end, when I feel ashamed, it's rudderless, hopeless. That's a space where I enter my own swamp and stay there.
Yeah, thank you. Along the lines of what you were saying, Michael, one of the things that I noticed, and I've noticed it for a while, but it's become a lot more apparent recently, is I have it inside me, ideas about what a good man should be, mostly from my mother, and I think also from other influences, but something like she was really clear about hating men when I was a kid, and just be nothing like your father was kind of something I heard a lot. And so what I got was, don't be angry, absolutely don't be angry, don't be patriarchal, which it like comes with all this different stuff. Don't basically be sexless, like do not enjoy sex or want it or anything like that. And part of my long game with that has been to learn about things like orgasmic meditation, which are very focused on just the women's pleasure, but it's a place where I could really be a good boy and get a lot of praise for it. I think that's part of the deal, but get a lot of praise from women because I'm not like other men or something along those lines. And really all the stuff that is other men, it's all in my underworld. It's all still there. I'm covering it up with being different or being more conscious or more evolved or getting women, something like these things. And I noticed, especially one of the communities I was in, and this happened to me too, that it's like it's only a matter of time. Like I can be a good boy and keep it together for a long period of time, but this boiling, bubbling, whatever stuff that's happening in the underworld, at least in this organization, it meant that men who had been there for years and years would suddenly just disappear. Or on my side, I left so angry, and I've carried that with me. This piece about how do I cover up the fact that I'm a man? How do I cover up the fact that I'm a man also with growing up in the society that I grew up in with all the unconscious stuff that men grew up with? How do I hide that as part of being good or worthy or something like that? I want to shift into a kind of space where everyone would get to speak, because we do an actual exercise where we're in breakout rooms with each other and you could explore with another person a bit more about what we're talking about here. And so I'm going to put people put people into groups of 2, and also with David, Anton, Ralph, and Oliver, I would have you guys pair up in different parts of that room. And there are a couple of thank you. There are a couple of questions I want to explore. And the first one, and I would send out timing for this, but the first one is to take a few minutes for one person at a time to share about how they are good, how they do the being good thing, how that actually shows up in their life or has showed up in their life. So that's the first question. One person will go at a time. And then that same partner, we'll call them partner A, would answer a next question, which is what if I did not be good? Something like what's really at stake with not doing these things? What am I missing if I'm not good? And like Michael brought, it's like it could be in your relationship, romantic relationship, but also in all your relationships. If you didn't do the good thing, what are you afraid you would experience? And then the last question would be, it's the price. It's about the cost of living in this way. So for every time you're good in whatever way that means, mostly that means you're inauthentic. Mostly it means you're not showing what's really happening. And that might include having no boundaries. It might mean that you give away your dignity in tons of moments. So there will be 2 people in a group. One person will go for all 3 questions. I'll send out the timing. And person who's listening. So partner A will go first. Partner B will be the one listening. Navigate the person toward really authentically feeling this stuff. So when they discover a pocket of, as they're answering, some pocket where there's actually some feeling about it, any anger, sadness, fear, joy, just say more about that. Or would you let yourself feel that more so that they can really have an authentic experience of, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is how it is in my heart about this. Any questions?
Yes. Could you tell the third question? I didn't get the third question.
Yes. It's the price that a person pays to be like this.
Okay, thanks.
And at the end of answering that third question, partner B, you will give them a little bit more feedback about maybe what they missed about the price that they pay. So you could say, yes, and you also pay the price of you don't really get to be alive. You don't really get to be spontaneous, whatever it really is. And then we'll switch direction. Any other questions?
Yeah, Devin, would you please say approximately how long for one person? So, because I don't think I'll be able to look at the screen.
Yes. Let's say 4 minutes per question. And then for the last one, what you missed with partner B speaking, it'll be 3 minutes of just you forgot to say this or you didn't say this.
Thank
So
you.
partner A goes through all 3 questions and then the feedback and then the switch.
Yes, exactly.
I have a little bit of a thought around there's not a question around what is being gained or what is good about that. And are we just trying to just focus on one side, or are we trying to take in more awareness towards these patterns?
Yeah. And by what is good, you mean what the benefit of these patterns is or what it does for you in your life?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, let's add that as a question. So I make that question 2.
Okay.
I'm just checking.
I know it might take more time, so I'm fine. It was just a question to.
Yeah, I just need a second. Yeah, actually, I'd like to just stay with these 3 questions. I think some of that will come out in what would you stand to lose if you were not good? But I think we can be in other spaces, bring that question as well. Thank you, Mickey.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to do some kind of breakout room magic.
There were 3 questions and a feedback, yes? 3 minutes
Yes.
feedback. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Let's see here. And Volker and Tobias, I'm going to put you in another room so that you do it together.
So we stay together, you say, yes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I'm opening up the rooms. And see you soon. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Which do you want to be? A or B?
I'll go with B.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm gonna just send this message.
Okay. Yeah. Does that work for you?
Yes.
You asked. Yeah. So how is it that you are good, Devin?
I'm just pressing the start button. Okay. Yeah, I still I cannot. It's like as I can feel it as I start to let in anything about my partner having a underworld, and really just letting that be a reality. I immediately bounce back to like, well, if I hadn't done this, if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't done this. And so it's like that's one way. Totally having no clarity, having just totally blurry clarity about a partner's underworld. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like I cannot be just clear. And another is about taking a stand for a space like this. I mean, I'm doing it, I'm going along with it, and there's so much happening inside, just like trying to pump the brakes. Like, don't do it, don't do it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go. Well, and yeah, what really goes on though? You know, like what is really going on? You know, it's really just surface what you say right now. How are you really being good? What is it really that you're doing? What do you do actually, you know, in practice?
Yeah, I try to like I try to make sure I'm seen doing good things so that people think, okay, he's good. So like volunteering for jobs or showing up to certain things and making it really obvious that I'm there. Yeah, I got it. Can feel. Yeah. Making my anger invisible and doubting, constantly doubting my anger or my clarity. Like anytime I have some kind of clarity, it's like I sit there in a kind of, well, particularly about particularly about certain things, what a person's particularly, I'll just say it, particularly about my ex-partner, particularly about that. It's like I couldn't bring it up, and I think that's okay because it was dangerous to bring up. But then when I would bring it up, I wouldn't trust myself. It would be like, it's like, it must be me. I must be crazy. I must be, God, it fucking drove me crazy. It was like, really, I must be going crazy here or something. And yeah, I said this earlier, but trying to get myself to like I said this about holding a hand, but how do I get myself to, when I don't want to just get over it, and hold her fucking hand. It doesn't matter what's going on. Just fucking do it. Okay, that was time.
Thank you. And yeah, you're going to navigate this timing thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah, and I want to.
Yeah, and then and so what are you really afraid of if you don't do this? If you don't hold her hand? If you don't actually have your clarity? You know, if you no, actually, the question's the other way around. Yeah, what if you don't stay in your good boy place, and if you bring your clarity and you bring your, your sword, or you bring your no, what are you afraid of that is going to happen, and what are you afraid of experiencing?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm. I mean, the first thing is like I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of. Oh, I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the fight. Like I'm afraid of the fight.
Yeah.
But then I'm also. And I did bring it sometimes, and it does create a fight, but only because I needed to be like, it's like I really needed her to get that this is what was going on, and she wouldn't. It's like I needed her to agree, and so then it wouldn't. I'm afraid that I'm afraid that the clarity is like, okay, I have to leave. I'm afraid that that's the clarity, that it's just okay. Then oof.
And then?
Yeah, I'm afraid that then I'm alone.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that if I'm just really clear, here's what's happening. I don't want it. I can't change it. I can't change it over there. Then I just end up alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm afraid of losing the love or something.
You're afraid of losing the what? I missed that word.
I'm afraid of losing the love.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Right. And
and I'm afraid that I'm wrong. I'm afraid that I'm afraid I'm missing something. Like that it really is my fault, and that there's something really in me. That there's something really inside me that I'm missing. That's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is that thing? What is that thing that's so bad, Devon?
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
I can't feel it quite yet.
Okay.
I feel I feel afraid of looking there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a really dark place.
Yeah.
I get.
It's connected somehow to like aggressive, like oh, this anger in me, this fucking volatile anger of just I can't take it anymore. I can't fucking take it anymore. That's time.
Okay.
I'm gonna send a message.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so really then if you have this fear, such massive fear of really revealing what's going on, and so you don't, and you just keep nurturing your good boy and not rocking the boat, not causing anything really, yeah, what is the cost?
Yeah, first thing
To you?
I mean, it's I create relationships where there's so much pain on both sides. Um, oh, yeah, some kind of growing up, like some kind of being in reality. Yeah, I give up my chance to be in reality, even if it's painful.
You give up your chance to be in reality, even though it's painful.
Honestly, it feels like I give up any hope, any hope of creating really relationships that are loving. I've given up. It's like I've just had no boundaries. And it's like I've slept with women I didn't want to sleep with just to avoid a conflict. And then it still created a fucking mess. And even right now, like part of the cause, like right now, even as I'm speaking, I'm like, oh, this whole call, this whole thing has just been about me, my underworld. Like none of what we're doing in this call is at all high drama. It's just all underworld. It's all fucking bad. Oh.
And so,
And
really
I'm just gonna keep creating bad things.
Wow. Just keeps going. Just keeps staying in the underworld. And so, thereby, what are you missing out on? You're staying in this underworld. And us as men are staying in this underworld.
Yeah, it's something like I just yeah, right now sitting here, I'm like, I'm not sure what's real. I don't know what's real in this. I think that's the reality thing is I don't know what's real. Okay, that's time. We're gonna shift to the last. I just need to send this message.
Okay. What is the message you have sent?
What's something like, what did they miss about the cost / price they are paying to live this way? And that's a little bit shorter. Okay. What if what am I missing, Jay? What can you see?
You're missing, Devon. You're really. Sorry, I just have to go down the back end of the house and let my dog in because she's crying out. Yeah. What are you missing, Devon? Is that you're missing what I notice? You're missing. Sorry, I got distracted. You're missing that. There's a whole bunch of stuff, really, that you're missing. And yeah, I think there's still way more layers. And yeah, it's like you're missing being afraid of being vulnerable with the woman, being so vulnerable that that you get it wrong and going there anyway, and that yeah, and the shame. There's really a lot of thing about blame and shame to yourself, for it not working, and that and that's part of that good boy thing of it's my fault, and with that comes the cost of putting this of then I get to stay in my underworld, really seriously stay there, really seriously, and I miss out. The cost, you miss out on that. Anger's okay, that consciously these things are okay. And yeah, that's a fucking scary place to go because we're so fucking good at bringing unconscious anger, is what I get.
Yeah. That was time. Thank you.
Yeah. Does that resonate? Yeah.
Yeah. Especially there's this kind of like intimacy with my partners that I've been really missing. I'm to be honest, I'm like, yeah, I think I'll have to rewatch this and get more of what you say.
And this, yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be your turn. I'm just going to get this message sent.
Oh, a little bit of nugget of gold just came and slipped out then.
Okay. Jay, tell me how have you been good? How are you being good in your life?
Yeah, I'd be good by being really generous. Really generous with time, with space, with giving time and space to people. like a place to be able to do what they want to do. And yeah, and and generous with things, and generous with, if I have it, you need to use it, go for it, kind of thing. And and there's sort of there's a part of that. And I'm really good by doing the work, doing this, falling apart, just being able to cry, being able to feel my sadness, being able to hold on to heartbreak. I can hold on to heartbreak for so long. And
can you just open that more? How you're doing that? What that looks like, and let yourself feel.
What lands at me right now is that I get that. I had a conversation with a friend 2 days ago. They asked me, "How's Yulia?" And I said, "Oh, she broke my heart and left." And it was like this. What lands me now is that this is my good boy strategy. That I say, she did this to me and left, and I'm such a good man that, and then I say that, and then I'm like, and I fully come up with a reason why she left. Like, she's on her own journey. This is going on for her, and I see that, and this is, it's like, I want to be the good man, that I'm so good that, and yet she still left. And I'm so good, though, that I can understand why she left. I can be so understanding that I get it, and in that conversation, I didn't bring up my own misgivings. I will say, actually, what did I say? I did say, it wasn't always great. Sometimes it was messy between us, and, and we actually had an agreement going between us that, we were going to evolve alongside each other, and sometimes it would get messy, and it did get messy, and still she left. So there's quite a few layers there about how I really subtly bring in this just totally, look at me, I'm still a good man.
Yeah. We're going to move to the next question. I'm just going to send it quickly. And you can already start. So the question is, like, if you weren't doing it, what are you afraid would happen? What's the, if you weren't good?
This is, I just get right now that this is just how I'm surviving. Right now, I'm doing this just to survive. I'm just doing this so that I can keep in connection with other people, that I can keep in relating with other people, that I even receive their heart, because they say to me, "I'm sorry to hear this," and so I really get that if I don't do this, then I've not been good, then they're not going to want to be with me, and then and then I end up alone.
Would you let that feeling come more? Because I think there's a lot there of, if you don't do all this and this and this, you end up alone.
I end up alone, Devin. And no one wants to be with me, and I won't find another woman, and then, And how do I replace this woman from what I've just had an experience? How can I find someone else that can go there?
Yeah.
And
go.
yeah. And yeah, how can the world actually, how can I be so worthy to just that the universe will supply me with someone even better? Whatever that means.
It already sounds like more of the good boy thing. Like, how can I be better so I'm worthy?
Yeah. And what if I'm not good? Yeah, I just stay alone, endeavor. Stay alone, and I don't get to I don't get to have that intimate relating.
You keep going.
That seems so terrifying. That just seems so terrifyingly scary to not have that opportunity, to have that opportunity died and crushed and broken. Because then what's my point? What's the point? What's my purpose in this world if I'm a man that can't have that intimate relating experience with a woman? Then what's the whole point of being a man in a human experience? Yeah.
And would you close your eyes? There's a feeling here, and just let this feeling be here more. What is the point? Even that.
What is the point, David?
Yes. There. Go there.
What is the point? What is the point? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't see what the point is if I can't have that. Because I'm a man. After all.
What's that mean? You're a man. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed a bunch of things coming in that I'm going, that then I get this voice coming in, that's like, because in this culture that I've grown up with, there's this expectation that I'm I'm living with a partner, that I'm living with a woman. And that if I'm not living with a woman, then I must be somehow unfit for purpose, unfit for, what this world has to offer.
Yeah, if you don't have a woman, then you're unfit for what the world has to offer.
Yeah, and so then people will be judging me. People will be looking at me in a sort of, there's something up with Jay. There's something wrong. There's something,
And we're going to come to an end there. I'm writing out the last question. This one is, what's the cost?
Yeah, what's the cost?
What price do you pay?
Yeah, I get to stay in this place that just feeds my gremlin, feeds my child ego of just, I am not worthy. I am not. I get to. The cost is I get to feel the life intensity by holding on to the heartache, the heartbreak, with a reason. It's like I get to be in. It is a kind of swamp. And it might not necessarily put me into a place of sort of like a depression, but it puts me into a place of just intensity of feeling.
And if you're there, you're paying a price of what you cannot have, and what you cannot have when what is
so many different possibilities possibilities, Devin.
Go.
There's so many different possibilities that are possible, that are available to me
Like
by
what?
just not carrying this, going on a fucking internal journey by myself, just so learning to be, just being so empowered in my own fucking self, in my own being, that that is, enough. That is so incredible, that, to go into that depth of just fully living full out, just being solid with being my own experience, my own life, with having so much clarity that I can say yes and no, and fuck you, and yes, hell yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, the cost is that I just, I get to avoid it. I get to avoid really, really, really going something different as possible. I get to miss out on just the joy, that the joy and the sadness that's right there, available every day, just for being fucking alive, just for being here, just for being me. It's just keep needing, I just keep needing to be fed from somebody else.
Yeah, go.
And I just miss out on this whole thing of just fucking owning my own experience. And I just,
Yes. Yes.
I'm sad on living full out.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes in, fucking. And then if she gets to see me living full out, she'll want to come back.
Yeah.
This is a scary place to be, Devin. There's this fucking recording that keeps coming in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
And
stay
that's
there.
almost like a reason. It's almost like a reason then not to go full out with my own self somehow. It's this really adverse kind of thing that comes into me right now. It's just like, my shadow, my grandma just wants me to be in this place so badly.
Yeah. We're gonna switch.
Because then,
I think you could keep going. We're just gonna do this last one.
And,
so what I notice that you miss is something. One is like the bright principle of generosity. You don't really get to feel that fully because it comes with exchange inside of it. And so it's like the way that your heart is built to love and to nurture, it doesn't get to happen at the level that it I think it with the level of freedom that it could.
Yeah.
And also because of that people would take advantage of that generosity as well. That somehow like taking little pieces of your energetic body away.
Yeah.
Yeah, another. Yeah, okay. That you trade a kind of. You said you were afraid of being alone if you weren't good. It's like kind of one of the things at the bottom, and that you're alone in a completely different way by being good. Like that you never get to. There's a world of people that do want to engage with you and encounter you, and somehow they can't find you because you're being good. So it's like your tribe or your people, your brothers, your sisters. Um, yeah, you've paid by. I had a different one.
I think I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying, though. You know, yeah, there's this trading. Yeah, I can be a good guy, I can be a good man, and I don't have to fully reveal myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to upset the other. You know, I don't want them to run away, be disconnected from them.
Yeah. And I'm checking about this other thing. Something about it's a similar thing that I have going on, but it's like you can't be just an equal somehow. Like you'd always be somewhere below or above in some part of your world with particularly probably with a partner, but it's like you can't really be on just two people with no story.
Yeah, yeah. There's always this some sort of competition, analyzing. Like with Julia, it was really a big matrix thing, you know. It was like, you know, she's been in this work for 8 years, I've only been in it for 2, and there's this dynamic going on, you know, or she knows what she's talking about, and I've got so much to learn, you know.
Yeah, like clarity about your real value. That's what's missing. Your real value is your true authentic value. I'm gonna close the rooms.
Yep. Okay. And I would like to share with you too something that comes up that I noticed that you're not noticing.
Hit me.
Hierarchy. Hierarchy. You often referred to my partner, you know, and it's like there's this ownership thing going on with, you know, with a woman. Yeah, that, you know, she belongs to you, and yeah, and this is and it comes out, and I know this because I've done the same. You know, there's this in the language.
Yeah,
it comes out in the language. You know.
Yeah,
my and mine.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's even been spoken 3 months after the fact. You know, of being in that. You know.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome back. Louise, would you say that? What's happening?
I was happy to have this contact now, because before I had the fear to speak in the whole group, and that you all hear me. And now I have more courage to do this, and it was precious for me to talk with Wojciech. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Christoph. Christoph, yeah.
Christian.
For some reason I can. Okay, now I see the names. Yeah, thank you, Christian.
Luis, I couldn't hear your voice. Your sound might be off.
Mhm.
That's better.
The whole purpose of this strategy for me is not to feel the love, because if I get to feel the love, my heart will be so open that I get to feel also the horror and the terror and the world around.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of being a good boy is just not to open my heart and to feel love as it is, to feel pure love. Protective layer of good boy is keeping myself, I don't know who myself is to keep this thing away from love, so that I don't get to allow love to enter me.
Would you say how that works, that this strategy keeps the love from entering you?
It's keeping myself be appropriate and making sure that I'm appropriate in the spaces, in that I adjust, that I scan other people, that I make sure that I manipulate the space so that I cannot be myself in a way that being a good boy will never get to be touched, because it creates a huge layer between me and the world, between me and each of you. It's there's no words for it.
Yeah, what I'm getting is when I interact with you, it's not really you. That's your whatever the strategy.
No, it's not me. I'm finding more and more strategies. And if I pick one, there's another one beneath it, and there's another one. And I call it being authentic. And I say that it is like it is the best that I can do now. And that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. I'm seeing it, I'm not saying it. And I'm believing my own bullshit, so that I don't have to feel.
I have a question, and it's not for opening up all the way right now, but Luis, there's someone or something that you had to be this for. You had to be this bullshit thing for. For the first time in your life, there was someone. Who did you have to do this for?
I can talk about many people. I can talk about my mother because I saved my mother, and I can talk about my grandmother because I was pleasing her, but mostly I had to do this for myself, because if not, I would be killed by the world, because I almost got killed by being a man in the world. When I was born, then I was being taken care
Yeah.
with two women, and almost I got killed by one of them. And I had to save my life in that moment.
already just when you were born, already you had this confrontation of about to being killed by the world.
Yes. I almost did not. I almost didn't make it. My mother thought about aborting. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Did you go through that process before, Luis? I mean, maybe you have,
not,
maybe there's another.
not in, yes, not in this depth. And there's more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Would you like to
Yeah.
ask for a space holder here
Yeah.
for the next layer of that process, or the next layers even?
Yes. Who would hold space for me for the next layer of my process? Of I don't even know what. Of
This. Say
yeah.
this.
I will write your names because I will go through different players. Carol, Devin, Martin, and Michelle. Thank you.
Volker.
And Volker as well.
And Volker.
Thank you, Luis. Is there anything you need right now from us? Thank you, Karol Nowakowski.
Yes, thank you. I need to go. See you.
Yes.
Bye, Carol.
Bye.
No, I'm just here until the end, and I'm glad to be with other men. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luis.
Anybody else about this last space with the other man? What it was like, or what you discovered? Go ahead.
I found out that many of my strategies, something that happens by going through them is an actual separation. I want to do something that people like me, that I don't get destroyed by them, that I don't get punished by them. And so I for example invite people that I give my authority to in my head, so that they would tell me what I have to take care of, so that I don't have to, that they don't get angry at me. So this voice is already telling me, and then I try to do everything so to not be in contact with this person in the end. Or this is something that then happens, that I'm inauthentic, that I'm kind of like always trying to avoid this person, trying to avoid people in general, because something could happen. Yeah. So I create this separation with the people. And I finally also, yeah, I will not have the intimacy that I actually want.
Thank you, Anton.
Thank you.
I have noticed that what stops me to really not using my good boy strategy is facing amount of fear, and really be able to hold this fear of it's not certain what will happen. It's like this is my biggest like a block. It's like staying in this, I don't know what will happen, and I can function. I can hold space, I can be with my kids, I will not die. And I will care about those ones that are dependent on me. And and I have this question because you know, okay, so I can now, work with expanding my capabilities to feel fear, and it feels like the part of this can be also keeping this good boy strategy of really, okay, I'm better boy then, so I keep more fear in my system. So I'm missing this distinction. How can I really like go with the healing or with process, and for this, I don't know, it's like expanding this, or really go out of it, besides really staying in there and doing the next practice that I'm good. Does anyone have possibility?
So in trying to get what you're saying, something like you're, as you feel more fear, the fear that keeps you in your good boy survival strategy is also, you're more sensitive to it, something like that. So you can't exit the strategy, or what is that?
Yeah,
It?
what I mean is that the purpose of, yeah, what I mean is that if I will go to the next, like it's like increasing my skills, and it's I and I know from myself that my skills are also to keep my good boy strategy, to to adjust to environment, because environment needs this. So then I still in my good boy box, doing healing process or doing box expansion, something like this. So
So Wojciech, I have two thoughts on this. The first one, it seems like you put a lot of pressure on you to not be a good boy, or to not do it wrong to be a good boy. Just from how you speak about it, that's what I sense over here. So it's okay if your good boy box acts out. Would be the first thing, not to judge you for if it happens. It's just the way it is. And you have one, so it's never going to go away. You'll have it all your life. And yes, you can choose how much power you give to it. And maybe an experiment could be for you to 5 times a day consciously not be a good boy. Consciously make mistakes. Consciously do things wrong. Like wrong according to your box. And we can do that together when I'm in New Zealand.
yes,
I'm in that experiment as well. And I'm signing off with this. Thank you very much, Devin.
Yeah, thank you,
guys.
Michael. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
And possibilities, Wojciech, your purpose sniffer. Check what is actually purpose of the action you want to do at the moment, because it seems you have clarity about to do these different things. You have a clarity about when you would do the action to be again a good boy. So it seems that you then know, or there's something new knows, and it's just about practicing how you expand the capacity of choosing something else. And that was the proposal for Michael, have a practice about that.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Martin.
And I want to add that it's, I wouldn't say it's like do the wrong thing, but rather do something that's completely unsafe, like something that's completely not the usual, and also not the opposite of the usual. Like it's just do something else. Like, yeah, something weird.
Yeah, I feel this, do something that is not safe for my good boy box. When I sense it, then yeah. Thank you.
And just something I've noticed about that experimenting myself recently is so when I do something like that, go to really the edge of my box and do something that I think is bad on some level, that it's really helpful to have some people that I can get a reality check with. Because part of this for me, the good boy box is I'm so convinced that I really know what is right and wrong and good and bad. Is that I have someone there who I can just say the whole thing to and say, was that bad? And even if some part of me knows it's not, to just have them say, no, not at all. That's not how it is at all, or to really say. So you might allow for that kind of team work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, one experiment that came up for me in my group with Carl, who left already, is that it's like, how can I get into a state of acting before my mind can process consequences? How can I make moves before my mind can even calculate the consequences? So that's what I'm really, what's moving in me right now. Is like, what would it be like if I moved in the world before analyzing what the future?
And that's a part, it sounds like, of your strategy would be to figure out if what you're about to do is good or not, or to think about it.
Yeah, like what would be the consequence? Like, I said, I was watching this show, and in this show, these people, like when they're pissed off, they grab a chair and they just throw it against the wall, and they're not thinking about the chair and the wall and painting the wall. We'll have to fix it, we'll have to patch it. It's just like, I'm fucking pissed off, and just, and like act, and I'm not, whatever that. And like, what would my life be like if I could just make those moves and then just make the next move without it being about, oh God, but what's going to happen to the chair? How much is it going to cost? Who's going to be mad about this? Like, just go.
It sounds a bit like you want to be more reactive.
I would say more active.
Okay.
Something,
Jeff, I get it. I get, Jeff, that example that you just gave is really an example of an unconscious act of just being angry, picking up the chair and throwing it. And I get that that's not really what you mean. I kind of sense that it's more about acting on conscious actions that are more valuable.
Yes, and my fear about it is that my mind will start to try to figure out what's conscious, what's unconscious, and that if I don't even give myself the space to just get the possibility of going without knowing, then I'll never even, it'll never even be, it'll be so far away always. If I'm trying to figure out, what's conscious, what's not conscious. And it's all about this good boy thing. Like, it's still going back to it's good boy. Like, oh, I have to be conscious. I have to avoid unconscious behavior. I have to be conscious, and I have to think about what I'm gonna do before I do it. Make sure that it's conscious. And like, check, and then I check until I'm on my deathbed, and then I lay there being like, hey, I've been checking my whole life. That's what my life was about.
Jeff, I want to offer the possibility that you can also act, and despite all the imagined consequences of your acts, you can still be with your clarity, even though a part of you thinks that will screw up the relationship or whatever. It's also a possibility.
Yes.
And I want to say briefly, we're at time. If you need to go, thank you so much for being here and joining this space. And I'll hang out for another few minutes to chew on this more with whoever decides to stay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Devin.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you all.
Devin.
Thank you, Devin. See you soon.
Jeff, I have another possibility for you to to go to boxing class or karate or something like this, because you have to be faster than you can sing, otherwise you have the piss in your face.
Yes. I love it. Thank you.
And I want to share that I even felt some joy in this exercise, like despite the pain of doing all the shit. I have this clarity. It's like really about having my clarity and being able to move with the fear. Like, and in a way, like I found this very simple recipe that I'm practicing already, and I can keep practicing, is like have my anger at the ready and have my clarity and act on it, even though I feel high levels of fear.
Mhm.
It's like super simple in a way. I'm getting to the edge of my good boy box, and obviously I feel a lot of fear there, and I can still move and risk that people hate me, like all the stories I make up in my mind that people will hate me, they will withdraw, and the relationship will be over, and I can still take a risk and do it anyway, and then see what happens. And I also have enough experience already to notice that these horror stories mostly don't materialize. Mostly people are grateful for real clarity.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you, Oliver. There's something you bring up too about, like, there are so many ways to experiment with this kind of thing, and you bring up using your fear as the navigator and the kind of detector of where the edge is, and also being able to move in the fear almost as like the tool or something. And I think I've in the past with the good boy thing have basically used my gremlin to just completely go non-linear outside of my good boy box and do things that I think are bad. And I noticed that without actually feeling the fear and navigating, somehow it doesn't have lasting change for me. It's just my gremlin did something insane, but I didn't actually build the matrix of my box going liquid about it, which I think is what happens with navigating with the fear instead.
Hmm.
I realize how much like the fear is around not be loved by others, but the people around. And even if I live in a place that is full of love, I still have this neurosis to figure out all the strategies to be the good boy. And I'm like thinking and reflecting, I start to think on possibilities, how to create like really group healing processes where I can change these cables and this experience on my system that I'm loved, because I have the intuition that an EHP is not enough, that I really need to make like a, because this was creating in an environment of people, and I think I need to create another environment of people in a healing context that brings this new information in my system, because I cannot believe how this is still running on me, even if my outside environment is not at all on that, but still I have this strategy so strong. So I'm thinking in this kind of healing processes with people to check if that works.
Mm. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And for me, what is after this experiment, yeah, there is some sense of, yeah, like my own experiment for myself is really like be really radical about what I really want. Like it's like this is like for me the simple thing, because the strategy of the good boy box for me was just really avoiding what I really want and find the and be with this question and find the like the really what I really want from the bottom of my heart, and yeah, I see how it is the experiment for me.
Yeah.
To yeah, to somehow break apart or start breaking apart this strategy. Thank you.
Thank you.
But what I see is a consistent understanding of what it is and what it's causing, and the big question is how to create something different. And I don't know, I can't help but see that it's like making a space for non-linear movement as the context of the space, not just a temporary space to practice making weird moves, like and not just for an hour on Zoom, but for a week or for 2 weeks, just to have a sustained experience of what would my life be like if I made moves like this from when I woke up to when I went to sleep. And one of the things that came up in our space was, what if every night when I went to bed, I was really fully satisfied, and I felt really that I felt all this joy and completion of a day. It's like, wow, I really was used up today. I grew today.
I hear that, and my sensor is also, that's exactly what my good boy box wants also, to end my day like that. Like it would fit in with exactly what it would mean in a way to be good, or to be having been valuable or something. Not saying it's that all the way, but
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's like, it's not about that I was good today. It's that I had an amazing day. I had a wild, unpredictable, week-long day. Yeah.
thank you. Go ahead, Volker or Tobias. Did you have something?
Thank you, guys. I have to go. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Carol.
Bye-bye.
You, Carol.
Also leaving. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah,
All right.
me too. Ciao.
All right. I think we close the space here for the day. Thank you so much for joining and participating and playing.
Thank you, Devin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Goodbye.